Hi, and welcome to another session in the online storytelling sessions that I do here with Darla. And of course, we rotate between our Facebook pages. And today I'm hosting, going to be talking about is three ways to use your, three ways to engage your Facebook followers using storytelling. That's what we're going to focus on today. And the importance, of course, of storytelling is that the fact that we can actually attract people to our businesses as opposed to feeling like we have to push them. And when it comes to Facebook specifically, it is really, really hard to sell to people on Facebook. People are on there to be social. They're on there to find interesting things. They're not there to be sold to. So our goal with Facebook is really, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So the three things that we're going to be launching into is one is visuals, which is Darla's specialty because she is a design genius and a branding genius. And number two is value-based content. What are the things that you can actually be putting out there on your Facebook page to engage your followers and get them to take the next step with you? And finally, we'll be looking at how do we get people off Facebook? If they're not going to buy there, then what do we do? How do we actually get them to buy? So we're going to be talking about that. But first of all, my name is Kellie O'Brien. For those of you who are new to my page or are coming across from another page, I'm an online marketing and social media strategist, and my goal is to get people to move their most aligned clients from discovering who they are on platforms like this on Facebook through to inviting them to work with you. And that's really what we're going to be today. And of course, as I said, I'm joined today by Darla. Darla, would you like to tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure, Kelly. It's always so fun to be on here with you. You know that. So, yes, my name is Darla Kirchner, and I am an online business and marketing strategist. And so, Kelly and I really we have learned that we have many things in common. Ideally, storytelling is something that kind of is like the glue that really holds us together. But so I work with women in business who want to really merge their passion for what they do and the product that they want to bring into the world with their personality so that they can make a profit online. And that is something something I have worked for a few years, and you and I have worked together on, and it's a passion for me. So yes, I love it. I love talking about this topic. I can't wait to get started.
Perfect. Well, we might even launch straight into your zone of genius, Darla, which is visuals. How can we actually be using visuals? And people think about is that amazing piece of real estate at the top of our Facebook page, which is the timeline cover. What can we be doing with our timeline cover to get people, particularly because generally the people who see that are the people who visit your page for the first time and then they never revisit because stuff just pops up in the newsfeed. So what can we be doing with that piece of real estate from a visual perspective?
That's a great question. A lot of people actually don't. They take it for granted. They don't think about it, using it, and building a strategy behind it. So a few things to do is one, make sure that you are on brand. Make sure that the images that you're using are images that are that speak to your brand personality, and also that will resonate with the target audience that you're trying to attract. The other thing is to make sure that you're using a call to action, and that you're not like don't write a book on your cover. Don't do it, because no one's going to read it. They're not going to. They're going to, you want to have something that's going to capture their and engage them, and then get them to a call to action. Usually you're trying to attract them to go to the little call to action button that thankfully Facebook has moved below the actual image now. So if it's call me, then you want to have them have a call to action for that. The other thing that you can do is make sure that you're changing it out. Canva creates very simple ways that you can create a timeline banner. I tell my clients at least change it out 4 times a year. Do it seasonally, like for the holidays, Thanksgiving, something like that. When you're getting ready to launch a program, or you've got something that you're working on, then put that out there and change up the image. the last little tip is behind the image. Once you've created the image and you uploaded it, click on the image and there will be a description. Make sure that you add content in the back end of that description, because all of that goes into your feed and people can see that. So you want to have your URL. You can have a link there to drive them to your website or to a landing page, whatever you're trying to promote. Make sure that you're doing that too. So that's probably my biggest thing, is when it comes to that visual impact, or the impact of the banner, and then have some subsequent post images that relate to that too. So if you're going to create that banner, take a few more minutes and create other images that will be in posts that you could do to drive people, to remind them. So there's my 2 cents on that. I hope that was helpful.
No, that's perfect. And what about our actual posts that we're creating when we're talking about our images? What can we be doing in that regard? What
Well,
looking for, I guess, that consistency, and what exactly should the images be, those stories around what we can be doing there?
Yeah, so there's a great question, and one of the things I would say is create like a little book, if you will, or a folder that has images that you can use, that you could have as a go-to. One of my free sites to go to is Pixabay. The free site that I always go there. There's a slew of them, and if you ask, I'm sure I've got blog posts on this. I'm sure Kelly can tell you some great places to go to. I know you turned me on to Deposit Photos, which is, it's not free, but it's very close. It's a great site. So, but you can go to places like that and spend a half an hour to an hour and just download images that resonate with your brand. Or if you're doing a blog post, or you're trying to promote a certain clientele, you want to make sure that your images relate to them and that it's gonna attract them, right? So that would be the first thing I would do. So, like, for example, I have a client right now that I absolutely adore working with, and she's a teacher, and so her program that she's getting ready, that we're launching, is for children that are having issues with literacy, but she loves nature, and so she wanted to put nature images up there. Well, that's not really going to attract her target audience, who is a parent with a child who is either struggling in reading or they want to make sure that they're going to be excelling in school, and reading is a foundation, right? So making sure that you're selecting the right images makes a huge difference. And so those are some of the biggest things I would say to you. The other thing is to check your insights. Look behind the scenes. You and I are both we find strategy is really important to us, and so I check my insights. I check my clients' insights, because I do online business, so I'm making sure that I'm doing like their social media marketing and things like that. But as you are, but I'm checking insights to see what's working and what's not, so I can tweak it and change it and just keep improving the process to find out what is really resonating with the audience that is on Facebook. So
yeah, perfect. That's great. I love it. So our next one on our list is to looking at the content. What is the value-based content? So what I'm talking about with value-based content is that we're not selling to people. We're actually offering them value. And there's so much stuff that we can be doing here. And if you can remind me, Della, I might share a blog post on, I think it's 21 or 27. I can't remember the number. Facebook post ideas that you can be using on your Facebook page. But some of those things are, for example, you can be doing blog posts. So you can be sharing your blog posts. And one of the questions I've been getting lately is, I feel like I'm just selling myself because I'm sharing this blog post and people are getting sick of it. And one of the things that I've been talking about lately is finding pieces of that blog post that you can splinter up, so that you take the headline and you share the headline as a status, and then you can take a quote from within that blog post and you share the quote, and then maybe there's a statistic in there that you can pull out, and that becomes the status, and of course linking back to that blog post. The other one is a question. If you set a fact or something in there that you could turn into a question, that's another great way to be able to get people to go back to your blog post to read it and read the bigger story, but you're taking a smaller piece of that story and sharing it onto your Facebook page. So that's one thing. Another thing that people really love is they want to get to know who you are. So behind the scenes of your business. Now, I'll share a bit more about this in our third tip, but one of my clients who I have adored working with them, they're a weight loss surgery and they, of course, she just put together a little picture and a recipe of what she was having for lunch. And it was just very, very simple. And that post ended up, she told me the other day, has now reached 4 million people, which is insane. 150,000 shares. The comments I wouldn't even like to have to sit there and count. It's amazing that one small piece, this is from a page that I think at the time had something like, I don't even know if it was at 12,000. I can't remember what where it was at, but it was just wasn't it already a massive Facebook page. So to be able to get that sort of traction is amazing, but it just shows that people want to know what goes on behind the scenes and what you find particularly boring, even with the processes in your business, what it's like to actually work with a client or what it's like to create your product or whatever it is. To you, it's boring because we do it all the time and we know it so well, but to other people, it's fascinating. So showing a little bit about what you do behind the scenes is another great way to share stories and for people to get to know, like, and trust you. Of course, sharing tips and strategies, so wrapping some stories, as I'm just doing just then. I shared a tip with you and I wrapped it in a story that you could relate to. Doing that, obviously, in either just a post in written form and having a great visual, as Darla talked about. Or another idea is to get on Facebook Live and sharing your story in that way. So there's lots of ways that you can value add to people. And one of the questions that a client, we were working on her Facebook strategy yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that she has these core topics. She's a business coach for healthcare professionals. So she talks about things like relationships internally, staffing, strategy, all those things which can sometimes get a bit dry. So what can we do? What are the off topics? Now, when Darla talked about the nature photos aren't in alignment with that, with the business that's dealing with children and we need to look is what are the off topics that actually are still relevant to that audience. So in her case, technology. So her business isn't about technology, but healthcare professionals need to know how to streamline by using better technology. So it's a great off topic for her to be talking about, and she's currently in the process of doing a survey around that particular topic. Other things are she deals with healthcare businesses who often professionals may not be looking after their own health because business wears them down and all those sorts of things. So she talks about how she goes for a run and the things that she's doing to look after herself and particularly that health and wellbeing space for her as well. So what are the off topics for you? The things that may not be directly related to your business, but they are relevant to your audience because they're still within the same realm of what you're actually about. So for me, I don't sell mindset, and I don't, but even though I subconsciously help my business, my clients with the mindset side of things, that's an off topic for me. So I still love sharing that stuff on my Facebook page. So think about what those things are for you. What's the value that you can provide for someone? And as I said at the very beginning, it is so hard to sell to someone on Facebook. So we have to find the value, and even offering something in exchange for their email address, whatever you want to call it, is still value adding, and we'll get to that a bit more in the third step. But Darla, do you have anything else to add there as far as the content side and the value add side? Any stories or examples from your clients?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about the like behind the scenes, and that's something that I literally just getting ready for our talk today. I created a quick image, and I took my cell phone, I took a picture of the image, and I put Facebook behind it, and I posted it onto Instagram. And I had somebody else, another colleague of mine, sent me something, and she had seen it, and she's in Ireland, and she saw it. She's like, love your image. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. I can't believe it. And it reminded her that we were going to be on Facebook Live. So, sometimes going off of Facebook onto like a sister site, you know, social media like Instagram, because they are connected. It's another great way to get on, to, share, that people that you are on Facebook and that you do have a Facebook page. Doing Facebook Lives, as Kelly and I have talked about, Kelly and I have both had some phenomenal, success when people have reached out to us and talked to us because I think that they see that we're being genuine and that we genuinely care. We're being very authentic. I mean, I'm sitting there coughing 5 minutes ago because I had this frog in my throat. There's nothing I could do about it. So these things happen, but push yourself outside your comfort zone. Share what's going on behind the scenes. Be real, and the right people will want to connect with you. And I think that's a lot to be said about it. I know there's something else I was going to share about it, but I think it's going to be better related for another topic about marketing and such. Which but I think this is making sure too. Going back to adding the value, you can go into your blog and take those images that Kelly was talking about, which is a genius idea, and you can make a carousel out of it as well. So test those things out, see what's working for you and what resonates, because then you'll start to see what your audience wants to see, and just mixing it up a little bit too. So there's a few more ideas.
and that's it's another topic for another day about cold, warm, and how you can use that in Facebook ads. But the carousel works so well in Facebook ads as well. So if you've got a blog post, you want more traffic to your website for the blog post, carousel's a great idea.
It is a great idea. Yeah.
And I think that, yeah. Oh, yes.
The only other thing I was going to tell you is on this whole topic about value is don't undervalue the fact of having children and puppies, because I have a client who does that. She has an adorable son who is very animated. He loves being in front of the camera. So we have done videos of him, and they're fine with it. I mean, of course, you got to get permission, but those videos have gone viral because of this little boy is so adorable, and their audience is talking to older seniors, like elderly people, but he is promoting their senior assisted living home. And you would be, I mean, the insights that we get from the rankings is just phenomenal, because he's so relatable and he's pretty adorable.
Elderly people love kids. They love babies and kids.
Exactly, they do. They do.
Great bet.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, it's the social media. People are here to be social. So, of course, they love to see pictures of kids and babies and puppies and things like that. So,
Exactly. And I think one of the things that you were talking about with Facebook Live, I mean, we could sit here and try and be perfect, but it's about progress, not perfection. And Darla and I are both self-confessed recovering perfectionists. So
yes, we are.
We completely get it. And it is hard to put yourself out there and you want things to be perfect. But if you do that, you hold yourself back, and in turn you hold your business back.
Absolutely.
Yourself the best foot that you possibly have right now forward. And it does attract messages after we do these Facebook Lives, because people feel a connection with us. It's not just written text, even though I'm huge on the written text side of things, obviously having a background as but video is so much more powerful. If you can't meet someone face to face, video is the next best way to connect with people.
Absolutely.
So the third one, getting people off Facebook. If they're not going to buy here, then what are we doing here? And I'll go people off Facebook. So what we're doing with that is talked a little bit before about offering them a free gift, lead magnet, and opt-in, whatever you'd like to call that thing, free resource, in exchange for their email address, because it is much easier to sell to someone or invite them to work with you. I hate the idea of selling to someone. Them to work with you or offering them one of your products or services once they're actually in your email marketing system. And as we know, Facebook owns Facebook. So if we have 10,000 fans on our Facebook page, if Facebook falls over tomorrow, we lose all of that. Whereas if we have 10,000 people in our email marketing system, we own that. We have those email addresses forever. It is just our job to then build that relationship and then invite them to work with us. So you need to be regularly putting that offer in front of them. And there are a few ways you can do that. great images with a call to action to come and get the opt-in, telling a great story about how this can help their life, and then calling to action. And the other thing that I really love doing, it's giving value first and then leading people down a particular pathway, is sharing blog posts and having the opt-in embedded into the blog post. So people can get more of a sense of why they want to give you their email address, because giving you your email address now is like someone giving you money, because we're so protective of our email addresses now. It's harder to get people's email address. So once they give it to you, you want to and there's great value as well, and make sure that it looks great and looks professional. But that's the way that we can actually move people from and building that relationship up, but then giving them an invitation that I'd love to give you something in exchange for your email address, and then of course nurturing them through an email sequence that then invites them to come and work with you. And you'll find that you have much better rate of getting people to work with you that way than you will simply putting out a call to action to come and buy my $10,000 program or whatever it is, or even if it's a $500 program. There's still a huge resistance there. Now, if it's a $10 or even a $50 offer that you can put out on Facebook, sure, that might work. But when we're talking about higher dollar items, people are not there to buy that stuff on Facebook. So as far as if I go back to the story I told about the health business who got the viral Facebook post with the recipe, what we did from that was we'd already created before that post went viral, in that she had an ebook we were about to launch, or both of them were about to launch on Amazon, and it went to #1 in her category in the space of a day because of that viral Facebook reach we had, but also then at least having the ebook ready. Strategy with the ebook and being really clever and getting a bit advanced here is that in the first 15% of the book we had how they could give you their email address in exchange for the PDF copy of the ebook, or they can get a month free trial of their membership program, which was the other thing that we were actually really leading people to. So of course people didn't need to actually buy the book if they didn't want to. They could still be able to be brought into their world, into their community, and then nurtured to being part of a 1-month trial of their membership program. And of course, a lot of people then went on and bought beyond that and stayed with the membership program and bought lots of their other books. So that was how we were able to take people from Facebook, get them over to an ebook. Even if they didn't want the ebook, then there was an opportunity there to capture their email address and build that relationship. And of course, then they completely filled out their membership program. It was pretty phenomenal. So anything is possible with your business. If anything can happen at any time. And my advice is to make sure that you have those structures set up so that if something does go viral, a cute guy, a little boy at the front door of an aged care facility goes viral, that you have the structure in the back end that you can then present an opt-in offer to those people to capture their email address in the moment when they love you most, so that you can start that process. So do you have any examples that you can share on that, or anything that you'd like to add to that, Darla?
I just think basically what you were just saying is, the goal is to keep the stories going, be very honest and transparent, be yourself, but also to your goal is to ultimately get them onto your list, because that is really where you can you can really separate yourself out and dive deeper into more storytelling, right? So that you're telling them, sharing your story and the differences you've made, and how you can be of service or not. So if they opt out, it's okay that they do that. That's a whole other topic. But yeah, but we both have known people that have had most of their business has been on Facebook, and I had one person in particular a couple of years ago who she was banned from Facebook. Something happened and she was cut off of Facebook, and she couldn't even tell her clients who she had meetings with that she couldn't even connect with them. You know, you don't ever want that to happen. That's why it's so important this is a very important piece of your business, and you need to take it seriously. So, and that's a whole other topic of conversation, but I think these 3 great tips are, and on all the little side tips that we gave, little nuggets, I think are great for people to get started.
Definitely. And I think probably one of the keys that you said there is that narrative that you're taking. You're starting the story on Facebook,
right?
Leading that story through your opt-in, whatever the story is that you tell.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another story or another narrative that starts through that email sequence, and of course then when they start working with you and looking at that sales page. So storytelling is just so critical to leading people through your pathway, and they're not even aware that they're going through it, and they enjoy the experience. They don't feel like you're a used sales, used sales car salesman. Car salesman. I don't mean to. I know some of you are amazing. It's that sense that you want to run away.
Yeah.
People, that feeling that, oh gosh, you're pushing me down this, and this feels horrible and icky. We want to actually have it so people guide themselves through that, through the storytelling, and don't even realize that, oh my goodness, how did I get to this sales page? And I'm so ready to buy. It's creating that sort of sense of excitement and enjoyment when people go through your system. So there are 3 ways that you can engage your Facebook page followers using storytelling, and obviously getting a result at the end, because stories are fine, but if it's not going to actually achieve anything, what's the point? So we've talked really strategically today about how you can create that pathway for yourself. Those 3 tips again were how to use the visuals, as Darla pointed out for us, the things that we can be doing with our visuals in our business. Number 2 is that value-based content. What are you putting out on Facebook right now, and what are the stories you're telling, and how much value are you giving people? And number 3 is then getting them off Facebook and getting them into your email marketing system, so that if Facebook falls over tomorrow and you've got 100% of your business tied to Facebook, as Darla said, then you're still going to be okay if your business isn't going to fall over. You'll continue your business as you have been doing every other day, because Facebook isn't. It's not your be-all and end-all. You have other opportunities there.
Right.
So this was a big one, but we had lots to share, and I think if you just take one small thing that we've talked about today and then go away and implement that, you will start to see changes in your business, definitely. But thank you so much again for joining me, Darla, over here, and I will be back over on your page.
Yeah.
I've got some holidays coming up, so we'll have to figure out what dates we've got coming up. And, of course, as always, we haven't thought about our next topic, because we never do.
Yes, we kind of like, we're impromptu, but that's okay. It rolls really well that way. We do well with that.
And we promise to put in the comments of wherever we've shared our Facebook Live, we'll put in the comments the resources that we talked about, amazing blog posts on the visuals for social media, that and particularly some of those places that you can go and find images. And I'll share my 21 or 27, I can't remember, it's 20 something, Facebook page content ideas that you can audience as well. So thank you so much again for joining us. We really loved it. If you've got any questions or any comments that you want to make, please pop those in the comment section, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.